Hello and welcome to the CNBC Africa special broadcast. I'm Ropiwa Madzena. Now today marks a very special milestone for one of Africa's biggest banks. Barclays Africa Group Limited, which owns subsidiaries including Absa Bank in 10 African countries, will be renamed Absa Group Limited in just a few minutes. Now, this is as a result of Barclays Africa Group's separation from Barclays PLC after the latter reduced its majority shareholding in the African group to a minority level of 14% in 2017. Now, the separation process will be completed in 2020, but we cross live now to the Johannesburg Stock Exchange where the festivities are taking place, and my colleague Fifi Peters is there. Fifi, very good morning to you today, and tell us a little bit more about the significance of this rebranding.
Hi, morning, Europua. Of course, it is a very significant, the rebranding. It's more than just a name change, and we'll drill into that now. But I just wanted to describe the atmosphere here on the ground on the JSE. It is really a buzz. Most investors, analysts, stakeholders, board members from Absa, and even executive management are here really to celebrate what is a historical day in the Absa history. And I talk about this because right now, Absa, for the first time in a very, very long time, will have the independence to chart its own course. Of course, the name change to Absa Group is part of the overall separation from its parent in London, that is Barclays PLC. That decision being announced as early as 2016. I will get into those details a little later on for you, Ropua, but right now the formal proceedings of this event have begun, and I'd like to throw to the JSE stage so you can see exactly what is unfolding.
The name change, the whole evolution of Absa to the JSE this morning. I have to tell you that my role has many, many fun moments. Sometimes I get to celebrate the proudest moment of a team's career when they list the baby that they have nurtured for so long on the wonderful market that I have the privilege of operating. Sometimes we get to celebrate the return of a South African icon, as we did last week or a couple of weeks ago with the relisting of Old Mutual on the JSE. And sometimes I stand here to recognize my own team and the wonderful things that they've done. And while I have certainly, from time to time, celebrated the renaming of one of our clients or the rebranding of another of our clients, I can safely tell you that I have never personally done this twice for one client. The Amalgamated Banks of South Africa initially listed in 1986, you'll be happy to know that was before my time, under the Alpha ASA, the trading Alpha ASA. It subsequently changed its name to the Absa Group Limited in 1997, still under the trading Alpha ASA. And it became Barclays Africa Group in 2013, a name change which resulted in the Alpha changing to BGA in an event we celebrated just over there in a very happy moment. And today, of course, we celebrate BGA, our 16th largest company, and accounting for nearly 3% of market activity every day, which is quite an enormous achievement. Reclaiming Absa Group Limited and listing today under the Alpha ABG. And one of my colleagues will unpack the trading screen for you just now. And as I thought about what to say today, I was reminded that a name tells of a journey. It is said a name also travels ahead of one, like a portent of things to come, a thing from which others make assumptions. And reflecting as I did draft these notes on the brands by which your business has been known, Maria, through the length and breadth of our country, on buildings and billboards, on the print, the radio, and the TV news, I recognize the twists and the turns in that journey and the leadership that you and your colleagues have played in our economy through the years, and I really do salute you. And I recognize, too, the importance that you have today retained some of that African heritage as you take your business into the next stage of that journey. And, of course, in some cultures, the giving of a name is accompanied by elaborate rituals. And so you've really come to the right place. At the JSE, we take the ritual of opening the market extremely seriously. In some countries, you come to a very smart, staid event and you ring the bell and you go home. Here, we count down the market from 10 seconds to 9. The market opens at 9 o'clock. It waits for no man and certainly no woman. we count down the market at 10 seconds to 9. We sound a kudu horn. And everybody gathered is expected to make as much noise as you possibly can to support the blower of the kudu horn, but also to herald the event that we're celebrating. But I want to tell you, and there's no pressure on any of us, but we have a long-established research that indicates that the loudness of the blowing of the kudu horn, the loudness of the cheer, is directly proportional to the performance of the share price on the day. So there's no pressure on any of us, but I'd just like to suggest you might want to raise your voices and celebrate in a properly African way. And so, Wendy and Maria, to you, your board, your team, it's a huge pleasure to welcome you to the JSE today. My colleagues and I really wish you all the very, very best.
Thank you very much, Nikki. No pressure on the kudu horn. Well, distinguished guests and colleagues, thank you for joining us for this momentous occasion. As Nikki pointed out a few minutes ago, 5 years ago, a number of us gathered here at the JSE to celebrate the birth of one of Africa's largest financial services groups, when we combined Absa with Barclays' Africa operations to form Barclays Africa Group. Today, we celebrate an important milestone in our pursuit of our vision to create a banking group that Africa can truly be proud of. From today, we are officially Absa Group Limited and no longer if I get emotional, just know why. And no longer Barclays Africa Group. Our share code will change and it will switch from BGA to ABG. It's not just a change in the share code. In March this year, we set out a new strategy. It places growth firmly at the center of what we do. It shapes our thinking and drives our planning. It is our measure of success. We have a clear goal and ambition to double our share of banking revenue from 6 to 12% while achieving high returns. And we've prioritized 3 things: to restore leadership in our core business. I know there's been a lot of concern about the fact that we're becoming competitive. Yes, we are. We are going to take our market share back. Building pioneering new propositions and creating a thriving organization. And I hope you will see some of our colleagues here today showing you just what that means. We are determined to build a scalable, digitally led business in pursuit of our ambition to grow and retain and regain that leading market position. 13 years ago, Barclays invested in Absa. At that time, it was essentially a South African bank. Today, this Absa is a group with substantial banks in 10 countries across our continent, a balance sheet of just over 1.2 trillion rand, 42,000 colleagues who have in the past year expressed a deep ambition to win and be a force for good across our continent. On this day, a new, modern, and African Absa is launched in South Africa. Over the next 12 to 18 months, the same will happen in all the countries in which we have a presence as we change our brand from Barclays to Absa. Our new brand and our logo are a celebration of our deep sense of pride in our African heritage. They embody our determination to be the very best we can be. It's a celebration of our African identity. Bobby Malabi, our executive for brand and communication, will tell you more about our brand development journey in a moment. I can tell you that in the past few weeks and months, we have rallied all 42,000 colleagues behind the call, be brave, passionate, and ready. And in a few moments, you'll experience some of that here at the JSE. The brand change is a milestone, an important one, in our strategy and separation from Barclays PLC. We have used it as an opportunity to engage with and ignite the collective power of all our colleagues across our business, from Johannesburg to Accra. We would not be here today without the support of many, many partners and all of our stakeholders, including our shareholders, which I think is appropriate to recognize since we are on the floor of the JSE. It's been a complex journey to get to this point. It has required a huge amount of work, a lot of negotiation, and as I said, a huge amount of support. We are deeply grateful to the commitment and the professionalism of our regulators in South Africa and across our continent. And to Nikki Newton-King and the team at the JSE, we thank you deeply for your support. On behalf of our executive committee, I also want to thank our chairman, Wendy Lucas-Ball, and she does want to be called chairman, so I haven't made a mistake, our board for their diligent work, guidance, and support throughout this process. I look forward to your continued support as we create the banking group that Africa can be proud of. Our purpose is to bring your possibility to life. It is something that I and all of my colleagues across the length and the breadth of our business are absolutely passionate about. We are determined to do. And I believe you will feel that passion, that determination, that bravery, and that readiness every single time you interact with us. Thank you very much. It's a proud moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. And on behalf of the Barclays Africa Group, now Absa Group Board, I would like to extend my thanks to all of you for being with us on this historic moment. And as Maria noted, this is a culmination of one journey and the beginning of a next. And as you heard from her, we see much more excitement in the journey to come than the journey we have already had. In 2016, we started discussing the sell-down with Barclays. And I think it's huge things that we don't recognize that have happened since then, not least of which the major book build whereby Barclays sold down its majority stake and as a result, we have a much more widely spread set of shareholders across the globe. And that marked a milestone in terms of its size on this continent, in terms of the size of that book build. And it also, for us, gave us confidence that the huge appetite that was expressed by shareholders in our share gave us confidence in terms of the way forward for us too. I'd like to point out, Nikki, that even though we are blowing the kudu horn, we never left the JSE. The JSE has always been our primary listing, and although we may have changed color a little bit, we are now firmly back in the red as Absa and as a proudly African financial services organization. The bank, as Maria says, is undergoing profound change, and the board has been very engaged with Maria and her team in this journey. And I must say that we were absolutely energized by what we saw in the result of what came from the colleagues across the continent in terms of expressing what they want this organization to be and the passion and commitment that they are expressing in terms of what we can and should be over time. And you'll see again, as Maria said, a little bit of that later on. But today is both a continuity and a change. So we will continue to create sustainable value and prosperity for our stakeholders. We'll continue to exercise good governance, risk management, and capital management, and my board members, risk committee, audit committee, all here. And we'll continue to support transformation across all levels. And we'll be resolute in serving our customers and growing our business. We will be a bank that places the well-being of the communities in which we operate at the center in everything that we do. And once again, I would like to just thank all of you for being here, but I want to extend a special thank you from the board to all the people of Absa, because we've been captivated by your excitement and your passion and the drive for change that you have expressed. And we are absolutely sure that you are ready. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Wendy, Maria, and Nikki. As Nikki said, we're on a clock, and that market open waits for no man or woman. So we're going to move swiftly along and talk a little bit about what it really takes to reimagine, rebirth a brand. And I'm going to ask the Group Executive for Brand and Corporate Relations at the Absa Group, that's Bobby Malawi, to take us through that. Thank you.
Distinguished guests, good morning, and our colleagues as well. You know, when the brand team started working on the solution for the brand, we knew immediately that the quest was much, much more than just redesigning a new brand. Our entire company strategy was being recrafted. Maria talks a lot about this. She's spoken at length about it. We understood that we needed to build a new culture to enable all our colleagues to have an incredible working environment. We also understood that our customers and clients have changed, are evolving with the times. We knew that we needed to be a digitally led business in order for us to compete so we could regain some of the leadership in some of the key business areas. So we conducted over 130,000 interviews across the length and breadth of the continent. The research results were emphatic. It was very decisive. Keep the Absa brand, but modernize it in a digital and African context. And we also understood that we needed to make the brand much more human. Therefore, we ended up with brave, passionate, and ready to serve the continent. That by following very precisely on our strategic imperatives, we've designed a brand that is really led from a digital first. And it's also added new meaning to what does it mean to be African, to what does it mean to operate on this continent of ours that's Absa. And thank you very much for coming and sharing this momentous occasion with us. We really, really appreciate it.
Well, you've had that first glimpse of what the new Absa looks like, what it took to get here, and would like you to continue to share that on our social media, on Twitter. I see that we're developing a lot of excitement on there. That hashtag is #Absa Journey, so remember to share that there. Now, standing here this morning, actually right at this spot, reminds me of a few years ago, without me revealing my age, when I used to spend a lot of time in front of this board trying to decipher the markets for the South African public at the public broadcaster. Back then, I think, Nikki, there was a much higher platform to compensate for my height challenges, but not much else has changed except, of course, for the technology, which is fantastic to see. But many of us, I think, don't quite know what on earth is going on over there. right? How many in the room could tell us what's happening on that board right now? Well, we're going to help you out, because that's what I do. I help people out. We're going to ensure that you understand exactly what's going to happen when in a few minutes' time the kudu horn is blown and, of course, the market starts to trade. And I'm going to ask Martin Koch, who is with the Trading and Market Services Division here at the JSE, to please explain for us what we are going to see in a very short while. Please welcome Martin.
Thank you, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So the screen is not that difficult, actually, if you look at it, but we'll go into the depths of what makes that screen happen and how you see these numbers and the pretty colors appearing on the screen happen, actually. So let's start off with the main reason we are here today. Just above me, the security code being ABG. Now, we can reshuffle 3 letters around quite easily, and I think that's what we've done from the previous listing. I must just add that I remember it was in the background there, and some of you might have been here, where we renamed Absa previously, and at that time I was not allowed to wear this tie, so I was very excited. I was very excited to wear this tie today after a few years later. So this is exciting for me as well. So we're coming around a few times, so maybe there's more. We can reshuffle ABG to anything that works. So if you look at the order book that we have on the side, what we're displaying here for you today is it's the live order book. It's not your 15 minutes delay that you normally get on certain websites or so. These are active orders, and these orders on the side here represent anyone in the market, be it international, local, retail, asset managers, anyone that wants to buy or sell this share, ABG, this morning. And if you look on the left-hand side, the bids are the buyers, so that represents individual buyers. We don't group them together. The colors just help us show different price points. So you can see at the moment there's a price point of 165 Rand and 30 cents for the best bid. So that's the best price, and then the prices change all the way down to this 140 Rand. Now, we display the prices in cents, so it would be nice if that was Rand, but these are in cents, so just bear that in mind. On the ask side are the sellers of the market. So these are the individuals that want to buy and you can sell, and you can see 179 Rand and 81 cents is the sell. The difference between the two we call the spread. So it's the difference between the buy price and the sell price. If we go across the top of the screen, is just a summary of the market view window or the market watch window. They get called different things on different platforms, but it gives you a brief overview of the detail that we've just gone through, and it shows you ABG, the description, Absa Group Limited. It's always the name of the company that will be displayed, and the ISIN code. The ISIN code you can see is an international security identification number, and that number can travel with this instrument, with this share, with this company all over the world. It proudly displays ZA as South Africa, so we know this is a company listed, primarily registered in South Africa. The bid and the ask is just a representation of the best bid and the best offer on the order book that we've just gone through, so it allows a trader or anyone looking quite high level at the share to quickly see what's the best price and the best sell price that is available. The open is a big 0 at the moment. It's not red for any particular reason except we're going with the theme. And it will, as soon as a trade happens, there will be an opening price. Your last price is, and this is very different to normal new listings because this is in effect just a name change, but also a new listing. The last trade on this instrument was at 165 Rand 30. That was the closing price yesterday. So that's what will be referenced this morning. And you can see already on the buy side, there's a 165 Rand 30. So you can see the levels are carrying over, even though there was a massive name change and a massive change in the culture. We're continuing the nature of what happened yesterday on the exchange. The high, the low are just indications of the highest price and the lowest price for the day. So it gives you a quick overview to see where's the best bid sitting in relation to the low or the high, and allows the traders to make faster decisions by just looking at that screen. We are looking at the M price and M volume on the far side here is going to indicate if the market should uncross right now, because we're in an auction at the moment, what the price it would trade at would be. However, you can see the spread is still open, so there's no matching happening at the moment. There's no crossing of the order book, so we'll wait a few minutes and see if there are trades going to be coming through. The session that we're in at the moment is called an opening auction, and what it allows you to do between 8:30 and 9 o'clock every day is get ready for the market. It allows orders, just like we're seeing here, to be placed on the market in an orderly fashion, and at about 9 o'clock, or anywhere between 9 o'clock and 30 seconds past 9, we uncross the market so that there's no gaming of the price or clients coming in maybe with a buy and a sell at different prices and quickly pulling them. We don't know exactly when a share will uncross, and likely today we will also not know exactly. But within 30 seconds, the market will open, and right at the top where you see the black screen at the moment, where the countdown timer is, that is where the trades will start moving, which are all of your equity market trades. The market is not yet open. We've still got 7 and so minutes. The ticker below it is our derivative market, which opens at 8:30 already, and its trading and trades are flowing through. It's already in continuous trading at 8:30. Now, that's the screen, and that is what clients will see, what you will see, and I hope now you have a better understanding of what is actually displayed on the market. But to take it a little bit further from a JSE perspective, which we're always very proud of how this happens, is our trading system. And we always place our dignitaries and VIPs right over the trading engine over there, so it's below your feet, and all of this information is in bits and bytes and numbers and ones and zeros actually being represented down there. So what the trading engine will do is any of these orders that have come in today, it would have recognized the instrument, which is ABG. It would have recognized that there's a volume of 5 at a price of 165 Rand 30, and it would have placed it at the top of the order book to make sure that that is the best bid for the day. And it has to do that thinking and that understanding in about 100 microseconds. Okay. Now, it takes us to send that information to London, to international clients who are seeing this information as well. It takes us about, call it 100 milliseconds as well. So 100,000 microseconds for it to go to London. Come back is less than 200 milliseconds. And if you blink, which we always talk about, and those that have attended a few of these openings will know the answer already, you blink at 300 milliseconds. So the system is fast, quick. We can get trades and orders and information all the way to London and back before you've blinked. So that's what the systems that we are busy with and using, and that is displaying all of this nice information on the screen, that is what we are using at the moment. It's all underneath there, so don't jump too hard if you are, once we open the market, we don't want you crashing through the floor on the trading engine. So this is what the new look, and we've been running electronically for a few years. Maybe some of you would have been a bit disappointed this morning to come here and not see crazy people, and mainly, as Nikki indicated, mainly men running around shouting orders. They're all doing that along the lines in form of little tiny men that are running through the wires these days on the system. What we can see happening now on the order book is quite nice. That shade of purple is indicating that we have an uncrossing that at 9 o'clock will occur. So you can see there's a market order, which is the MKT. Someone is willing to buy 50,000 shares at whatever price. And that's where the market will now react. And you can see that the opening price today will be 200. So that should potentially change in the next five minutes or so. And I hope we can still sound that. Otherwise, we have to make more noise. So the system just indicates to you that should we uncross right now, Absa will open at 200 Rand. And all of those asks and buys will be executed against. And that's where you can see that's changed again, because that was potentially an unrealistic price. And that is the screen from our perspective. So again, please make a lot of noise when the kudu horn sounds. Join in on the countdown. We'll start counting down from about 10 seconds onwards. And it is very true, the louder you do sound, the market will hopefully bring the share up. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much to Martin. Well, I've already started breaking the furniture, so I hope I'm still invited to the after party. Right, as Martin mentioned, we're about 4.5 minutes away, so I'm going to ask the Exco if you could all just make your way to the front, to the stage. We're going to get very close to that countdown, and we're going to ask you to help with that noise making. So if I could ask the CEO, the chairman, and of course the Exco to come onto the stage for now. And you will help me. We are literally about 4 minutes away. So you have a moment to just chat among yourselves, get those vocal cords warm and ready to make the noise that we need to make this morning. Give us a few minutes. As you know, the market is precise, so it has to start on time, and we'll be watching that clock along with you. Yes, please.
The interaction there, but if I can just ask my cameraman to pan to the floor so you can actually see the kind of mood and celebrations I'm talking about. Yeah. All right, there you go. And Ropo, I mean, you were making reference earlier on when we started the show about the operations that Absa has on the continent. They operate in 10 African countries, and in fact they've actually invited a host of media from across the continent to report back on what management has up its sleeve by the way of increasing shareholder value, by the way of contributing to growth. We've got about 1 minute right now, 1 minute until the JSE officially opens, and we do have the official opening of Absa as the newest named stock to trade on the JSE. I'm actually going to throw it back to the events as the countdown is now about to begin.
20 seconds. And in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You've just seen it there. Absa, under its new share code, under its new brand, opening the markets at the Johannesburg Stock Exchange this morning. Something that they're very excited about, rebranding themselves and becoming a truly African brand. I think there was a lot of skepticism about that separation initially, but it's an opportunity for the bank to independently regain that market share. And Fifi, I want to engage with you a little bit on some of the conversations that you're having with the people that are there. They're excited about the new strategy, particularly the digital part of the bank, and really how they'll use the digital elements of the bank to regain that market share and double to that 12% that Maria was talking about.
The conversations are about to begin, but I want to throw to you some of the celebrations that are happening right now.
Appointment with the sound guys now that the journalists need to get into this auditorium.
Well, certainly when the management of Absa said that they wanted to bring a purely African feel to the financial services group, they certainly were not lying if we just judge by the kind of performance that we have just seen, the kind of opening that we have seen for the group. Of course, Aropua, as we were speaking earlier before the mass celebrations continued, you were asking me about the digital strategy of the bank. And one can actually look at the new logo. I mean, it's got a much fresher feel, a much digital feel, and one can take it from there. I'm going to pause for now because we've still got a lot of celebrations going on. I'll just ask you to see exactly what is going on. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. They're talking about Africa United, and Ropua, I'm sure you just saw one of the classical and popular dance moves here in Africa right now, the Vosho, as the Absa staff members were doing to really cement the celebratory tone that is here on the JSE floor. The bank wants to become digital. The bank wants to become more fresh. The bank wants to regain market share. From now on, we wait to see exactly how it will do that, because, of course, it will take more than a name change and more than the rebranding of a logo to ensure that they can actually get that much-needed consumer spend coming to their doors in a very highly contested banking market, as we have seen a number of new banks coming on shore here in South Africa. In fact, Ropua, our viewers do stay tuned to Power Lunch South Africa, because there we will have an interview with the CEO, Maria Ramos, and she'll really give us the finer details on exactly how they plan to execute their strategy. We'll also hopefully hear from the MD of the Banking Association, that is Cass Kavodia, about how he is feeling about, number one, the excitement in the room, but the broader banking sector here in South Africa as a whole. From us here, never mind the person who just walked by. That's a signal that we go. From us here on the JSE floor, thank you so much for tuning in. It is bye for now.
Many thanks. You've just seen their jubilation, and it's hard not to get emotional at this new journey that Absa is embarking upon, not just in South Africa, but across the African continent. Fifi did allude to the fact that we will be talking to the Chief Executive, Maria Ramos, who's got her work cut out for her and the team actually, but she'll be telling us exactly how they plan on moving the bank forward in Power Lunch just after 12 o'clock this afternoon. And for now, here in studio, myself and the team, it's goodbye.